pleasant good evening to everyone, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Welcome to another meeting with Eloquent Voices, Club number 7012965. We would like to go ahead and get started with our meeting. And it's not a regular meeting that normally with all of the regular procedures this evening. We will ask Toastmaster Lewis to open with a prayer for us, please. Toastmaster Lewis.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Almighty God, we thank you for the gift of your holy word. May it be a lantern to our feet, a light to our paths, and a strength to our lives. Take us and use us to love and serve all persons in the power of the Holy Spirit. We ask that you allow our meeting to be very productive. Father, in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ, our Lord. Amen.
Thank you, Toastmaster Lewis, for that prayer. And we would like to just get right into it. It's time. I'm excited, and all my nerves on me just waiting here for the lady of the hour to come on. And I know it's going to be an interesting time. Our speaker this evening is a veteran broadcaster in the Bahamas who has a background in television production, news reporting, anchoring, and event management. She is an avid proponent of health and healing through nutrition. She decided to begin a series of webinars on food insecurity and building your immune system during the COVID-19 lockdown. The webinars have proven to be a hit, with hundreds of persons registering to be a part of the discussion. Please help me welcome the #1 Guardian talk show host, tackling difficult topics that are relevant to the Bahamian society, continuously shifting the paradigm. Shelley, for those who know her well. Toastmasters and guests, Miss Michelle Malcolm.
Well, good evening, everyone. And wow, Bernadette, you're swelling up my head a little bit. Thank you so much for that amazing introduction. And thank you to everyone for welcoming me to speak with your Toastmasters group this evening. As you would have seen while I was waiting for the meeting to start, I was trying to figure out what's the best, because my house doesn't have the greatest lighting, and I was trying to figure out what's the best place to set this up. But I think this looks better than what I had going on before. So this is what it is tonight. So thank you once again for welcoming to be a part of your Toastmasters group. As Bernadette said, I am a proponent of holistic health and healing through nutrition. As a matter of fact, I'm in the process right now of becoming a certified health coach with the Institute of Holistic Health. And that just speaks to the level of commitment that I have towards spreading the message of good health and healing through nutrition. And there's perhaps no time like the present when the entire world right now is really concerned about health. I've never, and I'm sure you have never experienced this in your lifetime, when everyone around the world at the same time has a lot of time on their hands because we're all being locked down and we're all concerned about health. And so this is the perfect time, I think, for us to talk about how to battle COVID-19 by ensuring that you have a strong immune system, because that, bottom line, is your best defense against COVID-19. We have heard a lot from healthcare professionals around the world and the World Health Organization and even people like Bill Gates, and everybody has an opinion as to how we're going to beat this crisis. Some people are saying that you have to have a vaccine. You have to have a vaccine to cure us against this. And even Mr. Gates is planning to vaccine the whole world, except me, because I'm not taking it. Because I realize that you do not need a vaccine to protect yourself against the coronavirus or any other virus or any other disease, as a matter of fact, any other chronic disease. Your best defense against the coronavirus or any other chronic illness is a strong immune system. A strong immune system is your best defense against COVID-19. And what I find remarkable about this whole madness that we find ourselves in the midst of around the world is, whereas so much emphasis is being placed on studying people who have contracted COVID-19, I'm wondering why they aren't studying people who have not. Because clearly there's something right going on with the people who have not contracted it. So why put all of your effort into figuring out those who have contracted it, what happens with them? Yes, it's important to understand the virus. But even more important is, I believe, an effort to understand how you avoid getting this virus. And I think we are making a big mistake by not paying attention to those who are not coming down with COVID-19. And please excuse the noise outside. I live in a fairly noisy neighborhood, so you're going to hear a lot of outside noise from time to time, so please excuse that. Even here locally, before COVID-19 arrived to our shores, we heard repeatedly from our healthcare professionals that they were very concerned because the Bahamas, as you all are probably aware, has a very high prevalence of chronic illnesses. We are #1 in the entire world with the prevalence of diabetes. And we are right up there with the rest of the world with other chronic illnesses like high blood pressure, like cancer, kidney failure, obesity. You name it, we've got it. And so the concern that was expressed early on is that COVID-19, if it comes to the Bahamas, we have to be very concerned because we have a very sick nation. And when you are ill, you have a compromised immune system, and persons with compromised immune systems, like the elderly, are the ones who are most at risk for contracting COVID-19. We've also seen where a lot of doctors around the world have been coming down with COVID-19. We've even lost our own Dr. Judson Enos to the illness. And a part of the reason is because they are constantly being surrounded by persons who have the virus, which makes their susceptibility even higher because they're constantly surrounded by this. And so I have reached out to our healthcare professionals and I've said to them, perhaps you should look at taking steps to strengthen the immune system of our healthcare professionals on the front line, because now more than ever, this is what they need to help them to battle the coronavirus. I am a firm believer in holistic health. And what does that mean? It means that as opposed to running to take a pharmaceutical product with the first sign of an ailment, you find a way to heal your body naturally through nutrition. And here's how that works. I'm a born-again believer, and I honestly believe that we were created as it was described in the Bible, that we came from the earth. And in God's wisdom in creating us from the earth, it is the very earth that we came from where we have to go to as a source for what we need to strengthen our immune system, to keep us healthy. We came from the earth, and it is plant-based nutrition that keeps us healthy or reverses illness in us, not synthetic pharmaceuticals. In many cases, and you've all seen the commercials on TV, they say, if you have this condition, take this pill. And then they say side effects include, and then they start listing this long list of side effects. And then you really think about it, the side effects are worse than the thing that you're taking the pill to heal or to manage. And so it just doesn't make sense. And yet that is the direction that the world has decided to go in when it comes to health and healing. So with holistic health, we believe that you should go back to the earth as the source for what your body needs to have optimum health. Our bodies are like machines, like a car. Let's use a car as an example. There are certain things that your car needs to function. Your car needs gasoline. Your car needs oil. Your car needs from time to time, coolant. And, typical women, I'm guilty of this sometimes. I just drive it and I don't check and I don't put the oil in and I don't pay any attention to that stuff until all of a sudden a light comes on the dashboard and I start to smell something burning and then I'm thinking, oh my God, what's wrong with this car? There's nothing wrong with the car. I just didn't give the car what it needed to function properly. The same way it works for our bodies. Every single body needs 90 essential nutrients to thrive every single day. Those 90 nutrients include 60 minerals, that's 60 minerals, 12 amino acids, 3 essential fatty acids, and 16 vitamins. So you've got 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, and 3 essential fatty acids every single day. That's the raw material that our bodies need to function. And so when we don't give our bodies the raw material it needs, then we start to see the results of deficiencies. And there are over 900 diseases that are in existence because of nutritional deficiencies. 900 diseases, many of which doctors will prescribe medications for or will tell you that you have to have surgery to correct, when all you have to do is give your body what it needs. And the bodies were designed to heal itself. You give the body what it needs, it will heal itself. Let's go back to the car as an example. I may decide I am sick and tired of spending all this money for gasoline. So that's it, I'm done. I'm not putting any more gasoline in this car. I happen to like orange juice, so the car needs to like orange juice too. So I'm gonna start feeding my car orange juice instead of gasoline. What's gonna happen? Of course, it's gonna malfunction. It's gonna malfunction for 2 reasons. Number 1, because I didn't give it what it needed. But number 2, which is just as important, because I gave it what it did not need. And the point I'm trying to make here is that no amount of nutrition can outdo a poor diet. When we look at what we typically eat in the Bahamas, when we look at the Bahamian diet, we understand, or we should understand, why we are so sick as a nation. We fry everything. We could fry water if we could. And that leads to cancer. Everything is sugary. We love the sugary, sweet drinks. Sugar is the worst thing in the world you can do for your body. It leads to cancer. There's so many things that we are doing that are leading to the illnesses that we have. And if we would just put the right things in our body and not put the wrong things in our body, we would have a very strong immune system that could battle COVID-19 or anything else that comes our way. And so the key is, we call it 90 for life. Making sure that you get your 90 nutrients that you need every single day for optimum health. I want to play a couple of videos in this presentation because I want you to understand that, yes, it's important to follow the instructions that we are being given in terms of social distancing, washing our hands, wearing masks, that kind of thing. And those are great to do, and I'm not suggesting that anybody not do those. But the point I'm trying to make here is that practicing that alone is not nearly enough if you do not have a strong immune system. So in this particular video that I'm about to play, it's going to look at what masks do and what they do not do, just so you can understand that you cannot put all of your trust in wearing a mask as we have been instructed to do.
This is a video made by a group of German physicists. The circle in the background is a kind of mirror that, combined with a special photography technique, allows you to see the flow of air. In this case, it is showing how far air particles travel when someone breathes, and when they cough, which makes the respiratory particles travel further and faster. This is what it looks like when someone coughs into their hand and into their elbow. And this shows the travel of air particles when coughing while wearing two types of masks, a dust mask and a surgical mask. This isn't a scientific study. It simply shows something face masks do very well. They limit how far away from you respiratory particles can travel. But whether you've been told to wear a face mask to prevent the spread of COVID-19 probably depends on where you live. In some East Asian countries, it's already common practice. Some European countries have also started mandating face masks in public spaces. But in the US, the message from the federal government has been inconsistent.
There's no reason to be walking around with a mask. It's not providing the perfect protection that people think that it is.
CDC recommends wearing cloth face coverings in public settings where other social distancing measures are difficult to maintain.
This is voluntary. I don't think I'm going to be doing it.
Unless you live somewhere that mandates it, whether you wear a face mask is probably up to you. But making that decision for yourself is a lot easier if you understand what face masks can actually do, and what they can't. Here's where the experts agree. If you are sick and you leave the house, you should wear a face mask because it keeps your germs in. Most of the uncertainty around masks is related to a separate question, whether healthy people should wear them too. Right away, though, that distinction between sick with COVID-19 and healthy is more complicated than it sounds. People who catch COVID-19 don't feel symptoms for 5 to 6 days on average, and even up to 14 days, but are contagious before that. And based on what we know right now, about 25% of people who catch it never show symptoms at all, but are also contagious. In other words, especially with COVID-19, feeling healthy doesn't necessarily mean you don't have it.
I think we should all be acting and also all assume that we're infected.
Shan So Lin is an expert on global public health, and Robert Hecht is a professor of clinical epidemiology. And they say the possibility of being asymptomatic is one of the best cases for universal mask wearing.
Those who are actually infected and don't know it are showing almost no symptoms. It's not maybe even primarily for their own health. It's for the health of their family and neighbors.
But let's say you definitely 100% do not have the virus. The first thing you need to know is that no mask can actually guarantee that you won't get it. Instead, the best way to think about face masks is as part of a larger set of protective measures, along with social distancing and hand washing. Used together, they don't protect you completely, but they dramatically lower your odds of infection.
I think of it as a protective triad with the virus trying to get in. And if you don't have one of the branches in it, then you're not protecting the whole thing. And if you didn't have a mask, could you do better with social distancing, hand washing? Sure, but having all three is really, really important.
To understand how that works, let's look at the two ways COVID-19 is transmitted. One way is by touching an infected surface and then touching your face. This is called fomite transmission. And frequent hand washing is the best defense against this. But wearing face masks correctly can play a role too. Masks
do a really good job of keeping you from touching your face.
The second way someone's respiratory particles can reach you is directly, like this. This is a slowed down recording of a sneeze. It shows the kinds of respiratory particles a sneeze emits and how far they travel. From a sick person, these droplets are packed with millions of viral particles that fall in close range and infect whatever they land on. Social distancing protects us from droplets by keeping you away from the particles emitted through sneezing, coughing, or even talking. But face masks could help there too.
So if someone sneezes a couple feet away from you, it'll protect some of the bigger splashes.
That also means face masks are especially important for people who don't have the privilege of being able to social distance.
That would be cops, that would be grocery clerks.
Taxis, Uber, FedEx, and UPS.
Anyone who's coming into contact with a lot of people and maybe can't always maintain that 6-foot distance.
Look at this video again though, and you'll see that we also produce these longer range, smaller particles which evaporate and can leave the virus hanging in the air. These are called aerosols, and we still don't really know how infectious they are for the average person. But experts think they mostly pose a threat to medical workers who work up close to patients with COVID-19.
If you're a foot away from the patient who's coughing as you're trying to intubate them, aerosols are going everywhere. For you and me, you're just walking around, walking your dog, going to the grocery store, your risk is way higher from fomites.
A common mask that protects against aerosols is called an N95 respirator. Its name comes from its material's ability to filter out 95% of aerosol particles. It's also fitted to form a seal around your mouth and nose, so there's no leakage. In lots of places, N95s are in short supply because of diminished government stockpiles and disruptions in the supply chains. And that's true for all disposable masks, not just N95s. That's why the US Center for Disease Control says that unless you are a healthcare worker, you shouldn't be using either N95s or regular surgical masks. They are needed in hospitals, and the level of protection most people need can come from a simple cloth mask. The CDC recommends any kind of tightly woven cotton for the mask, or even a t-shirt. You can make them by consulting the countless internet tutorials out there, or buy them from the many vendors who manufacture them. But they only work if you wear them correctly. So what kind of masks are you wearing? Do you have them handy? Can you show us?
We thought you might ask.
We thought you might ask.
This is all it takes to put it on. Just grab it by the loops. Keep your hands off the central part. Put it over your nose and mouth. Loop it around the ears. Be careful not to touch it when you're outside. Keep your hands away from your face. When you come back in after walking the dog or doing the groceries, do the same thing in reverse. Put it off to the side. Don't start playing with it. And then just at the end of the day, pop it in the washer.
You wash it every day?
I wash them every night. And, even if you don't have a washer, you can hand wash them every night. They're very small and they'll be dry by the next morning. So if people can have a couple, it would be better. But if you only have one, then just wash it at night.
Face masks highlight something important in the fight against COVID-19, that it isn't always about protecting yourself. It's about protecting the people around you. And if everyone is doing it, we all protect each other.
There's a visual messaging that comes from wearing a mask, a reminder to everybody that we're not in normal times now. Everyone needs to be doing everything they can to protect themselves and other people.
Masks alone don't protect you. Social distancing alone won't protect you. Washing of hands alone won't protect you. And even all three of them combined together won't protect you. I go back to the way I started this whole meeting, which is to say that your best protection against COVID-19 or any other illness is to have a strong immune system. So you may ask the question, exactly what is an immune system? We all think we have the answer to that, but actually you might be surprised to know what all is involved in your immune system. I'm going to play one more video that will go into explaining what your immune system is and how it works.
Yes, this is not for use in an infomercial, but it is okay to be used generically on a website. Most people don't realize it, but the immune system is made up of many different systems. Your skin wards off big chunks of foreign bodies, dust and splinters and things like that. Then you have antibodies, which are antibodies against pollens and foreign chemicals and things in your sweat and your tears, your saliva, your digestive enzymes. Your immune system also includes your appendix and your thymus and your tonsils. Your immune system includes your stomach acid. Your immune system is your proteins from your liver. So it's a very complex thing. Your white blood cells are part of your immune system. And nutrition is required for all these systems to work properly. They don't work in a vacuum. They do require all the known essential nutrients, which include 16 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 essential amino acids, 3 essential fatty acids, and then also the antioxidants which you can get in your food. These are measured by ORAC points. ORAC is the acronym, stands for oxygen radical absorption capacity. And ORAC points tell you how many free radicals are neutralized by the antioxidants in your blood and your sweat. And so this is kind of just a short version of what your immune system is. Well, toxic metals are toxic at certain levels and not toxic at other levels. In some cases, metals that are thought to be toxic are actually essential nutrients. Everything's looked at as a bell-shaped curve. If you don't get enough of them, you have a deficiency and get a disease. If you have the optimal amounts, everything works perfectly. If you have too much, you're poisoned. I mean, you can be poisoned by too much oxygen, too much water, too much vitamin A, too much anything. And so everything is in a bell-shaped curve. And those that have a very narrow peak, instead of having a nice flat bell, those that have a very narrow peak, almost a sharp point, those have a very delicate, very narrow range of safety. For instance, arsenic is an essential nutrient. We've known that since 1947, but you get too much, it'll kill you. You don't get enough, you get leukemia. And so arsenic is an essential nutrient. Cadmium is thought to be a toxic metal, but it fills in. If you're zinc deficient, you hope to God you have some cadmium because it drives all the zinc-dependent enzymes if you don't have zinc. And then selenium, for many years, is thought to be toxic until 1957 when it was proven to be an essential nutrient. And so one man's toxic thing is another man's essential nutrient. Well, subtle signs of an overload of toxic anything, including toxic metals, would be fatigue, sort of non-specific pain, discomfort, inefficient functioning of various systems. For instance, if you have too big a load of toxic metals, you could have an anemia because your bone marrow won't work right making red blood cells. Lead poisoning is a very common reason why kids would have anemia in schools, because they might have lead poisoning because they're eating the lead chips off of the peeling paint in the school. Well, an immune system that doesn't work very well, one that might be called depressed, or one that is just, or suppressed, or it might be one that just isn't functioning very well, can be non-functioning because it doesn't have all the raw materials to work properly. It could be non-functioning or suppressed or distressed even because it has an overload of things that can be toxic to it. And certainly heavy metals in excess beyond their essential needs can put a damper on the immune system. Because if, for instance, if you're taking in too much lead, lead is okay at certain amounts. It's a required nutrient at certain amounts. You never hear the EPA saying we must live in a lead-free environment because a lead-free environment will kill you. You need small amounts in parts per billion for certain enzymes, including the enzymes required for RNA to replicate. You need lead, but if you get in a lead-free area, it's not going to happen. But if you get too much lead, then everything stops, because then the enzyme systems that make the DNA work stop. Well, they could have an accumulation or some storage of toxic metals in their body, but if they're in all outward appearances healthy, they don't have any clinical symptoms. If you do laboratory tests, you don't see anything wrong with any of their blood and urine fluids, then they can still have some small amounts of toxic substances in them, but it's not at a high enough level to cause what would be called clinical interference or clinical symptoms. Radiation is a terrible thing, and one of the recent findings that have come out, of course, is that one CAT scan, one mammogram has the amount of radiation of 500 chest x-rays. The old thing is that, there's insignificant amounts of radiation in CAT scans and MRIs and mammograms is ridiculous. And for years, radiologists have been saying, well, that's all nonsense. There's no more radiation in a mammogram than there is in an ever-rated battery. Well, that's not true. Now they came out just months ago and said that one mammogram is equal to 500 chest x-rays. My Dead Doctors Don't Lie CD, 40 different companies use it. It's very generic. It doesn't even mention my company, but it has principles in it that I hope that all companies use, because a rising tide raises all ships. And if we all work together to protect our families and our churches and our neighborhoods and workmates and church mates, and we'll save America. But if we all don't work together, then we're going to have some difficulties here. And so we need to work harder together, but we're limited on what we can say about each other than kindly things. Bob and I know each other from the National Health Federation for many years, and I've always been very fond of the National Health Federation. That I go back to them in 1978. So it's a great thing that Bob contributes to the knowledge, to the general knowledge of the American public and general knowledge of the members of the National Health Federation, Health Freedom Expos, and he's a beloved member of the alternative health community.
Dr. Wallach grew up on a farm, and as he often tells his story, when he was growing up, they had to figure out a way to keep their animals healthy. Because let's face it, if you've got a $10,000 bull, you're not going to spend $30,000 on a hip replacement surgery for that bull. So you got to figure out, if that bull is having some challenges, how to heal that hip. And so what they decided to do was they created this concoction of all of these vitamins and minerals, and they would make them into pellets and feed them to the animals. Well, lo and behold, the animals started getting healthier. If they had a condition, the conditions were reversed, or they would just stay healthy. And so one day as a boy, he says to his father, if this is working for the animals, why aren't we doing this for us? Typical parent, boy, go and sit down and eat your peas. Now, here's a part of the story that I didn't tell you. As a boy, Dr. Wallach had what doctors eventually prescribed as a disability. He had a terrible facial twitch, and he would sometimes grunt like a pig and make weird noises and movements. And his parents took him from doctor to doctor to doctor, and none of them could figure out what was wrong with him. So they just said, your son is disabled. Well, after his father dismissed him, he decided that he was going to try to secretly eat some of the animal food to see if this nutrition thing would work for him. 2 weeks later, the twitch, the grunting, all the weird behavior was gone. So as a boy, he figured out early on, it's nutrition that is going to heal. Long story short, he went on to study agricultural science. He got a degree in agricultural science. He became a veterinarian. He eventually became a pathologist. He created, he did thousands, literally thousands of autopsies on both animals and humans. His research on exotic diseases of animals can be found in the Smithsonian. He is very well known and well respected in the community of persons trying to find a cure for cancer. You can Google him. Joel Wallach is his name. He founded this company called Youngevity, and Youngevity specializes in providing every human being the 90 essential minerals, nutrients, vitamins, amino acids, essential fatty acids that a body needs every single day. And so as an holistic coach, soon to be an holistic health coach, I'm a part of persons who we call crusaders, who are out there spreading the message that it is through nutrition, plant-based nutrition, that you will be able to stay healthy or reverse illness. I will tell you people, I have seen, well, I am my own best testimony, because I almost died as a result of being exposed to toxic mold for 17 months unawares. And while I was trying to figure out what was wrong, I kept taking my supplements, because I said to myself, whatever this is, I'm going to fight this through nutrition. I didn't know what was wrong with me, but I decided I was going to fight it through nutrition. And so I was doubling and tripling and quadrupling the amount of nutrition that I took. And when the Lord finally revealed to me what was going on, and I figured out that I had been exposed to mold, I traveled to the United States to a clinic in Ohio that specialized in detoxification. And I took my supplements with me so that they could see what I was doing. They put me on this machine called a biofeedback machine, which sort of like hooks you up to electrodes that read the systems in your body. It's something that they use on astronauts. And they explain that the results of that test are, 1 is the highest degree of toxic burden possible, and 10 is the lowest degree. So if you've got a 10, you haven't been exposed to much of anything. My results were a 1. The lady said to me that I was teetering, but it was the supplements that I had been taking that helped my body to fight. So when you hear me excited about holistic health and healing through nutrition, it's because I've lived it. And I have seen people who have been healed of chronic conditions like high blood pressure, diabetes. I have a video of a man a Bahamian who the doctors told him that he would have surgery on his spine. He had sciatica. And he heard me talking about holistic health on the radio one day, and he called me up and he says, do you think this can work for me? And I said, I know it can. Do not do the surgery. Long story short, he said, okay, I'm going to try this. If it doesn't work, I'm coming looking for you. I said, no problem. He started with the nutrition. 16 months later, he went back to the doctor just to compare. A second MRI done. The doctors looked at both of them and said, well, why are you here? He says, well, I just wanted to check to see what I was doing was working. He says, well, what I can see, your spine is healed by 75%. This is all through plant-based nutrition. And so I want to encourage you today to consider what you need to do to improve your health, whether it be to strengthen your immune system from COVID-19, whether it be to reverse a chronic condition like high blood pressure or diabetes or bone loss or kidney failure, whatever it is. My message here today is to help you to understand that you can be healed through plant-based nutrition. Now you may ask, why do I keep stressing plant-based? You can't go into the store and buy the over-the-counter supplements that are there, because many of them are made by big pharma, the same companies that make pharmaceuticals. And if you Google, like I had a girlfriend, I was telling her the same message that I'm telling you now. She says, well, I take Spring Valley vitamins. And I said, you know, you're not getting the nutrition that you think you are. She says, what do you mean? I says, Google it. See who makes that that brand of vitamins and see how much of what you're taking actually contains how much of what level of vitamins are actually in that. And she did. She Googled it. It was made by a big pharma, and the vitamins that she was taking had 4% of the actual contents that they were advertising themselves to have. 4%. But then she understood why she wasn't getting any better by taking these over-the-counter supplements. So I say that to say not all supplements are created equal. You have to have plant-based nutrition. Synthetic stuff created in a lab, it's not going to help you. And you have to understand that you have to take responsibility for your health. I in no way am trying to discredit the medical profession. Doctors play a very important role, particularly when it comes to acute illness. If you're in the middle of having a heart attack, taking supplements at that moment is not going to help you. You need to go and see a doctor. So they're brilliant when it comes to treating acute illness. But when it comes to chronic illness, they are more concerned about managing your illness than they are about healing you. So the first thing they're going to do is prescribe a medication that is only going to manage your symptoms. There is only one thing that doctors prescribe out of all of the medications that they prescribe that actually heals you of an illness, and that is antibiotics. Antibiotics actually get rid of certain things like strep, or, there's certain things that antibiotics work for. The challenge with that antibiotics, though, is that imagine them like an atomic bomb. They go into your system and they kill the bad guys, but they kill a lot of the good guys too. They just wipe everybody out. And so people who have abused antibiotics find themselves with another health problem because they have wiped out so much of the good in their bodies that they have a problem warding off illness going forward. Apart from antibiotics, there is no other synthetic medication that is prescribed by the medical profession that heals you of any disease. All they do is manage your symptoms. So you have to take control of your health. You have to take responsibility for your health to the point where you understand that it is your responsibility to go out and find the solutions that you need for better health, whether it is for COVID-19 or any other chronic illness that we talked about tonight. It's your responsibility. You cannot rely solely on the medical profession because they only know what they know. I'll tell you a little secret, and I actually got Dr. Dwayne Sands to admit this on my show one time he was a guest. Doctors have not been trained in nutrition. They've not been trained in nutrition. However many years they spend in school studying to become a doctor, he admitted on my show, and all of the years that they study to become a doctor, the most that they get in training in nutrition is 15 hours. Out of what, 8 years? 15 hours. That's it. I don't call that training. I call that skimming over. So they only know what they know. They can only tell you what they know. And I'm very, very encouraged now that there seems to be this movement towards a more holistic approach in the medical profession, where they are now understanding that they have to start paying some attention to nutrition, and they're embracing nutrition because they realize that the pharmaceuticals are not doing it. They're not doing it. And so I'm going to wrap this up now because I understand I have a time limit. I just want to encourage you to get to the place where you understand that you have to take responsibility for your own health. You have to take responsibility for strengthening your immune system. You have to take responsibility for reversing whatever conditions that you have that the doctors have told you your only option is to take medication. You have to be responsible for being the champion of good health for your family. People say, oh, this runs in my family. What may run in your family are the bad habits that led to you having that condition. And so the same way that you have generationally created bad habits to become ill, you can generationally create good habits to become healthier. It's easy to do through nutrition. Now, one of the things that we do in the Institute of Holistic Health is we encourage people to take what we call a health evaluation survey. Because what that survey does is it shows you whether or not you are deficient in any particular area. I'm going to share to my screen what that health evaluation looks like. I'm going to leave it up for a while on the screen so you can make a note of the address that you need to go to access this health evaluation survey. And it's free of charge. You don't have to worry about the cost of it. But what this will do, it'll break down for you exactly what is going on in your body, whether or not you have a deficiency in any particular area. According to Dr. Wallach, there are 4 main categories of illness, and they fall under the categories of hard tissue, soft tissue, blood sugar, or digestion. So hard tissue, what are hard tissues? Anything in your body that's hard. The bones, the joints, the ligaments, etc. Soft tissues are anything in your body that is soft. All right, so your brain, your skin, all of the soft tissues in your body. Digestion deals specifically with your digestive system. And so you've got your hard tissue, you've got your soft tissue, and then blood sugar, which is a big problem for us. And it all fits under one of those 4 categories. I also want to say that your digestive system is so important because 80% of the chronic diseases that are out there start in the gut. So you have to have good gut health in order to have overall health. It starts in the gut. So you want to protect your gut. Okay, so once you visit this website, you see where you will put in your name, your email address, your telephone number. They will invite you to watch this video. Let me see if it'll play here.
Hello, and welcome to My Health Evaluation, where you can fill out your personal health assessment free of charge and receive a customized report. Our mission is to teach you how to take charge of your health through education and empowerment. This short video will explain what you'll see as you go through your evaluation and the results and recommendations you'll see after you complete your evaluation. Let's take a look. First, you'll fill out your information. Please double-check the email you enter is correct. This will ensure that you receive an email copy of your evaluation, along with a link to review your personal recommendations again. Now you will begin your assessment. Please score yourself on a scale from 0 to 5 on the questions below by simply clicking on the number that best describes how often you experience that symptom. 0 for never, 1 for rarely, 2 for occasionally, 3 for often, 4 for always, and 5 for severe. Please note you need to answer all questions. If you miss one, you will not be able to continue to the next page. Simply review the boxes on the right to see which ones are blank and enter your score, then continue. Assessment, you'll be asked some additional questions. Please answer these and note there are specific questions for women and for men. For your most important health goals, if you're unsure, simply enter "not sure" in the boxes, then continue. When you get to the FDA disclaimer page, please review the information and click the "I agree" box, then submit. Now you will see your personal recommendations page. The Healthy Body Pack contains all 90 nutrients, and it's the pack we recommend everyone start with. There are 2 options to choose from, and the only difference is flavor. The next section is the recommended add-on products. These are the products Dr. Wallach would recommend in addition to the Healthy Body Pack, based on your personal health evaluation scores. The products are scored on a scale from 1 to 100, based on your specific need for the product. The higher the score, the more you need that product for your specific health concerns. Next is the additional recommended products. Please note you may or may not see anything in this section based on your individual answers. The recommended products you will see in this section are based on the health concerns you were interested in. Now that you have reviewed your personalized recommendations, there are 2 choices for you. You can learn more about how to fix your health problems and achieve optimal health by clicking here. Or you can find more product information and purchase products by choosing the Product Information button. No need to memorize all of this. As mentioned at the beginning, you will also receive an email with your scores and a link to the page with your customized recommendations to review anytime. Additionally, the person who sent you the evaluation link will also receive a copy and can reach out to you once it's completed. We look forward to helping you fix your problems and achieve optimal health. Please start your evaluation now.
Okay, so I'm going to open the floor for questions. I think I covered everything that I wanted to cover this evening. Just to get you to understand once again that your health really depends on you. And you have to get to the place where you understand that it is your responsibility to do what you need to do to optimize your health. You can't rely on anyone else to do that. And I want you to know that many of the conditions that you have been led to believe that can't be reversed through nutrition, they can be. And today is, or can be, the beginning of an incredible rest of your life of good health and healing if you would open your mind to embrace holistic nutrition. And that's my presentation, and I will open the floor for questions.
Good evening, I'm Janice Copley.
Hi, Janice.
How are you?
I'm excellent. How are you?
I'm good. Great presentation. Thank you so much. A question for you. In terms of cost, are you able to give an average cost of the products, or you would have to choose and then based on, you'll have to take the evaluation and then based on that evaluation, a cost is given? How does it work?
You need to do the evaluation. And let me explain why. Because every single person is different. One of the things that we don't believe in doing is throwing products at people. Now, that being said, the foundational products are the 90 for life. There are 3 foundational products that make up everything that we do. That is the essential fatty acids, 3, 6, and 9. Then you've got the Tangy Tangerine, which gives you all of the 60 minerals and some vitamins. And then you've got the OsteoFX, which gives you things like magnesium and calcium. And so those are the 3 products that make up our foundation. But what you need beyond that, that may be all you need. You may take a health assessment and you may be in perfect health. And how you know if you're in perfect health? The perfect score is 100. So your score, the closer you are to 100, the better your health. I've gotten some results of people whose scores were as low as 20. So the lower your number, the worse in health you are. So what you need depends on your results. We're not going to throw products at you in here saying, just go and take this. No, it really depends on you and where you are at health-wise. And also, there are several options. So for instance, a person may only want to take pills. They may not like liquid or powder. So you have the option of liquid, powder, or pills, and each one of those has a different price point. So it really depends on your individualized health assessment survey. We really recommend people do that survey because it really helps you to understand where you are at health-wise and how much work you need to do to make your health better if you are in poor health. It's really a great tool to have. And what we often recommend to people is that they take the health assessment survey, they take the products for at least 90 days, because I always say to people, if I'm 50 years old and I have this health condition, it took me 50 years to develop this, I shouldn't expect to be healed in a week. It just doesn't work that way.
I agree.
You got to give it time to work. And especially when you're talking about healing through nutrition. And so we say, give us 90 days, 90 for life. We call it 90 for 90. Get your 90 nutrients for 90 days. And then take the health evaluation again. And you would be shocked to see the difference between where you first started and where you are. Let me tell you a story. Years ago, I had some folks here from Longevity International to talk about the products, and we did a radio tour. And this lady called me up and she says, Ms. Malcolm, we were having a public meeting. She says, Ms. Malcolm, I really want to come to the meeting, but I don't have any trans. So I said, no problem, I'll pick you up. So she gave me her directions. I picked her up. Lady lived in Yellow Elder. Took her to the meeting. She enjoyed the meeting. And as I was dropping her back home, she says, Malcolm, I really want to try the products, but I don't have any money. Now, I see somebody asking about high blood pressure. This one had chronic high blood pressure. She was so bad that she told me that whenever she laid down, her eyes would turn red. And she was telling me all these different symptoms she was experiencing. And I'm saying to myself, Lord, please don't let this woman die in my car, because that's how bad it was. She was really ill. She wasn't working. She figured she didn't have any money for medication, so she wasn't seeing a doctor. She wasn't on medication, nothing. So I said to her, I'm really concerned about your health. You need to go to the clinic. After I dropped her home, I had to go to the hotel where the international guests were staying, and I told them about her situation, and they said, let's bless her with a month's supply of the product. So I called her up on my way home, and I said, I want to stop by your house to drop off something for you. She said, okay. And when I pulled up, I said, we want to bless you with this month's supply of the product. This woman literally burst out crying. She said, Malcolm, you don't know how much this means to me. Thank you so much. I said, now, Ms. Brown, I know these products are going to work, but you need to promise me that you're going to go to the clinic. Even though I know these products are going to work, you need to see a doctor right away, because you are really, really, I'm really concerned. She says, okay, I can go. I said, please, promise me you're going to go. She said, I can go, I'm going to go. I said, okay. So 2 weeks later, I called her back just to check on her. I said, Ms. Brown, this is Ms. Malcolm. We're just going to check on you. Oh, Ms. Malcolm, I feel so good. I said, Ms. Brown, did you go to see the doctor? Did you go to the clinic? Just go on Tuesday. I said, my God, Ms. Brown, it's 2 weeks since I told you to go. You just go to the clinic? I said, what did the doctor say? Anybody tell me my pressure normal? My pressure normal, Miss Malcolm. I said, wow, 2 weeks. And she told me, she said, I haven't even been taking the recommended amount as I try to make this stretch. so she was rationing the product. And yet within 2 weeks, her pressure was normal. Folks, I'm not here trying to push products. What I'm telling you today is the absolute truth. Now, you heard me talk about the gentleman who had sciatica. I'm trying to pull up his interview right now so you can hear his testimony from his own mouth.
Yes, no, what I'm saying is in 2016, January, I was diagnosed with just degenerative disease, severe pain in my lower back, sciatic nerve pain down my right leg. I got the MRIs done, everything showed all images, did the back decompression therapy and that stuff. I then heard about the product, Longevity, on the radio station in May of that year, 2016. Started taking the product in June. I was taking it ever since, with the exception of 1 or 2 months where it might have fallen off, but I was always consistent with it. And in the end of February 2018, I then got another MRI done to compare the two images about 2 years. Because I recall on one of Dr. Wallach's promotions on YouTube, where he said basically with those bone disease, it normally takes about 2 years. So I say, you know what, it's almost 2 years now, a year and a half for taking the product. So I had the MRI done February 28th of 2018. Went to see my spine doctor March 1st, 2018. He then said, looking at the image, both images, the technician report from the MRI, which was done, and then he said, well, Jerry, why are you here? You're not having no pain or nothing. I said, well, doctor, just wanted to see the comparison, the product, and what I've been doing from then to now. He said, based on this report, my bone has healed over 75%. The L4 and L5, the two lower ones, the all action was. And just a little action going on above it. But basically, it's more than 75% healed. So I thank the Lord for that. And the products have been used in the bone and joint part. Thanks to Dr. Wallach and his team. And those excellent products have been used in. Thank you.
If you find someone who has high blood pressure, that's a hard tissue issue. So that person needs the bone and joint pack. If you have someone who has memory loss, that's a soft tissue issue. So we recommend the brain and heart pack. What the company has done is they've created various health packs with various products depending on that particular issue that that person is facing. So a diabetic, we would put them on what they call a blood sugar pack. Now, type 2 diabetes is completely reversible. Completely reversible. Type 1 is not. The most you can do for type 1 is to manage that. And we have found that because type 1 is what people are born with, that is actually a result of the mother during pregnancy not having the 90 nutrients that she needs. And so as a result, the child, the pancreas does not form properly during incubation, and they end up with type 1 diabetes, and their pancreas is unable to produce the insulin at the rate it should, and so that's a lifelong condition. That can be managed well through nutrition, but it can't be healed. The type 2 diabetes can be healed. And there's so many, but let me tell you, one of the things that hurts me the most is when I see my people suffering unnecessarily. So many Bahamians are suffering from things like diabetes that could be reversed. And they just, my doctor say, and they just keep taking medication, and it ain't making them no better. So if you know anyone who is battling these illnesses, I'm telling you, they can be healed through nutrition. I'm telling you. Any other questions?
Hi, good evening. How are you?
Excellent. How you doing?
I'm really enjoying this presentation, and I just wanted to say a lot of times with some of the more common diseases that you mentioned, like diabetes and high blood pressure, weight is a factor. So in terms of holistically working towards being rid of the disease, is there some further benefits as well for being able to manage the weight as well?
Absolutely. Can I tell you a secret that a lot of people don't know?
Okay.
And I learned this when I went off to Ohio to detox because I was living in the toxic environment. One of the things that your body does when it's exposed to toxins is it creates fat cells to store toxins. I had blown up to 195 pounds. I'm only 5 feet 5 inches tall. I was heading towards 200. And no matter what I ate, it didn't matter. I just kept gaining weight. And when I went off to detox, they said to me, you gained weight because you were exposed to all of this poison, and your body what your body does is it creates fat cells to store toxins to protect your organs. And they explained to me that 90% of the people in the world who are obese are not obese as a result of eating too much, or it's not what people think it is. So there could be a lot of things that are leading towards the obesity. It could be a problem of toxins. It could be a problem of poor nutrition, because you may be eating foods that are filling the stomach but are not giving you the nutrition that your body needs. And so your body is, it's a strange, I shouldn't use the word strange, but God and his wisdom, our bodies are incredible machines. And here's the challenge. Oftentimes with a doctor, let's say I go to the doctor with a headache. What's the first thing they're going to do? They're going to prescribe something that's going to decrease the pain in the area that I'm experiencing, right? They're not going to stop and try to figure out what is causing the headache. And there lies the problem. They only treat the illness at right where it is. They don't look at the connection. Your body is an interconnected machine. So using myself as an example, at one point I developed acid reflux. This is before I got introduced to longevity. I was having these really bad pains, like dull aches in my chest, and I started to think something was wrong with my heart. So eventually it got so bad, I went to the doctor, and she ran a whole bunch of tests on me, and she came back and she said, "You have acid reflux." Like, wow. At that time, I had some weight on me at that time as well. And so she prescribed Nexium. I took the Nexium for the first 2 days because I wanted relief. I took it for about 3 days. And then I decided to Google Nexium. And when I saw the side effects of Nexium, I said, hell no, I'm not doing this. And so then I Googled how to become alkaline, because I figured if my body was that acidic to cause me to develop acid reflux, then this is something I have to take seriously, because disease cannot exist in alkaline environment. I will repeat that. Disease cannot exist in an alkaline environment. So oftentimes the obesity is a result of acidity. Your body is so acidic because of what you're putting into your body that this is a protectionist method of your body trying to cope. I Googled how to become alkaline, and I started naturally doing what I needed to do to become alkaline. I realized after I started doing this, that all of a sudden I started losing weight, not exercising, not changing. I had to change certain things that I ate to get rid of the acidity. But I was like, I wonder if weight loss is a part of becoming alkaline. Sure enough, I Googled alkaline weight loss, and there it was. So the weight just dropped off because I became alkaline. And guess what? I got rid of the acid reflux. No medication. And a side effect was losing the weight. So the first question you need to ask is, why are you obese? It may be because you are faced with toxins every day, or it may be that your body is so acidic from putting various things into the body that cause inflammation. And you understand? I'm going to tell you all some secrets that you're not going to hear anywhere else, perhaps. You need to avoid, let's talk about the good foods, bad foods. Let's talk about the bad foods. Anything fried is bad. Fried food is the enemy. Processed sugar, bad. You don't want to do processed sugar. You don't want to do white sugar. You don't want to do fried foods. I don't even own how I cook my food. I use a toaster oven, and I broil or bake everything. And you can do oven fried chicken. Just go at about 450 degrees, 45 minutes, and you've got oven fried chicken. Gluten is the enemy. You want to go gluten-free. Where do you find gluten? Oats, wheat, rye, barley. Anything with oats, wheat, rye, barley, avoid like the plague. And here's why gluten is bad. Because gluten destroys the gut. It creates these microscopic punctures in your gut lining. And so what happens is things start seeping into your bloodstream that are supposed to go through your gut without getting into the bloodstream. They're supposed to be digested first. But because you've got these punctures in your gut as a result of the gluten, you've got things now seeping into your bloodstream that shouldn't be there. And for some people, what happens, like me, is now your system, designed by God to attack a foreign substance that's there, it's a foreign enemy. Your body sees these things in your bloodstream as an enemy to attack, and your body starts to attack itself. So now you start developing these autoimmune conditions, like a thyroid condition, like lupus, like arthritis, all starting from the gut. So you've got to avoid gluten. You've got to avoid fried foods. Here's something else you need to avoid. Any oil in a bottle. Olive oil, canola oil, vegetable oil, and no matter what kind of oil it is. If it comes in a bottle, you need to avoid it. And here's why. The oil itself, if you, let's say you had an olive tree and you were able to go and pick your olives and you press out that oil and you use the oil right away, not bad. The problem is the time it takes for that oil to be shipped from Italy to the Bahamas. By the time that oil gets to your table, it has so diminished in quality, it has become so oxidated that it now becomes a problem for your body to process. And then once you eat that oil, it leads to inflammation. And inflammation is a bad thing for the body. So you want to avoid all oils. You want to avoid margarine. Margarine is really just glorified plastic. And if you don't believe me, take a stick of margarine and put it outside on the wall and see if any fly is going to light on that. No fly will light on that because that's not real food. So you can cook with a little butter. Just a little butter. Just saute slightly your vegetables. Salt is on the good food list. Not processed salt, not salt in the box, not rotten salt. But if you get pink Himalayan salt or even the Long Island corn salt, or I buy that coarse salt because it has minerals, and the minerals are what you need. One of the ways to make water alkaline is to drop a little pink Himalayan salt in that, and that makes the water alkaline, because water that is created from reverse osmosis is very acidic. So here it is, you drinking this water thinking you're drinking something healthy, and all you're doing is putting acid in your system. So you have to have the alkaline water. And there are places right here in Nassau where you can buy alkaline water, same price as the other water. It ain't like it costs no more money than the other water that you're probably drinking. So all of these things you learn as you go in the longevity program. We teach you how to achieve optimum health holistically using plant-based nutrition. There are over 2,000 products available in longevity. We have something for every condition. And let me just say this. We're not God, we're not miracle workers. It does happen from time to time where a person is so far gone that only a miracle from God can bring healing to them. But if you are not that far gone, and I've seen people in stage, I know of people in stage 4 cancer that nutrition has been able to heal. So, God is still a miracle worker, praise God. But if you give the body the raw material it needs, I guarantee you those conditions that you are managing right now, you will be healed. And that's really the ultimate goal. I'm not into managing symptoms. I'm not into managing illness. I oftentimes say to people, I can help you. And they say, oh, I have it under control. And I say, sweetie, you didn't hear me. I didn't say I want to manage your illness. I want to help you to become healed. We often say that we are in the business of shortening prayer lists, because if you give your body what it needs, God designed it that way for your body to heal. That's how we were designed. But it can only work if you give it the raw material. So I know that was kind of a long answer. And I don't know if I answered your question, but obesity is that's a serious thing, because that leads to so many other illnesses that you can't imagine. So you want to take care of the obesity problem. But the first thing to do is to find out what's causing it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
How can we find you or get in contact with you?
Well, the first thing you need to do is fill out that health assessment survey. I'm going to go ahead and put that up on the screen again, so you can, if you haven't done so already, so you can write down the address where you can go and take that health assessment survey. Bernadette has my contacts, Bernadette Russell. She was the one who actually organized for me to speak to you guys this evening. But I want you to take that health assessment survey, and again, there it is. Put it on the screen. So you can see the address. The address right here. This is what you need to do. You need to take that health evaluation survey first. There's a spot in there where it says who referred you to this. Make sure you put Bernadette's name there so I could know that you came from this meeting. Fill out that health evaluation survey. And then once you do that, an email will go to you and a copy of your results will also come to me. And that's why it's important that you put the correct email address there. And so once I have your results, we can go over it together. And I can say to you, okay, based on your results, this is what your health looks like. This is what you need to concentrate on, that kind of thing. Now, while I'm screen sharing, I can't see. So if anybody else, I can't see you guys. So if anybody else has a question, please just go ahead and ask. And I'll leave this up for another minute or so y'all can record the address, how to get to the health evaluation. But if anybody else has a question, just please go ahead and ask, because I can't see you while I have the screen share on. Anybody?
Hi.
Hi.
This is Jack. I can't make out the address. It's blurry on. Blurry.
Okay, you know what? I will put it in the chat. Let me do that.
Thank you.
Let me do that right. That's the easier way to do it.
Another idea, if you can open it up from your screen and it becomes legible. Once you touch the screen and open it, it becomes legible.
Touch the screen?
Yes.
I'm trying to
open the screen. Just touch it and open it with your fingers, 2 fingers.
Oh, come on, thing.
I'm on a laptop.
I'm trying to highlight it so I can okay, there it is. So I can there it is. Okay. I will put it in the chat.
Thank you.
Okay, there it is.
Very good. Thank you.
So you can go ahead and record that. And once you record that, just go there. You can fill it out on your laptop or on a phone. And remember 0, and it's symptoms over the last 30 days. 0 means I have no symptoms, and 5 means severe. Now, if you are on medication for say high blood pressure, and it says rate your symptoms, don't say 0 because your medication is controlling high blood pressure. Okay, we need to know what you're really dealing with. Okay, because you're gonna give us with a false idea if you account what your medication is doing to control your issue. We're trying to figure out what you're dealing with if you weren't on the medication. Okay, that's important to understand. And you have to, it's important that you are brutally honest with yourself in the evaluation. It doesn't make sense to put figures in there that aren't true, because then it's like you're lying to yourself. So just be as, straightforward with the answers as possible, so that you can get the best result and the most honest result. I've had a situation where a friend of mine was walking with a cane, and I'm like, girl, I need to get you on some nutrition. No, I don't need that. I'm fine. I'm not in that much pain. I'm like, girl, you're walking with a cane. You're too young for this. She didn't listen to me. She ended up getting hip replacement surgery. Let me tell you something. Doctors will tell you can't regrow cartilage. That once your cartilage is gone, whether it be in your hip or sciatica in the spine or whatever, that's it. That's not true. Your body will regrow cartilage. You heard the young man in the video, Andrew Young. Most of you probably know who he is. Andrew Young, former Atlanta mayor, was due to have 2 knee replacement surgeries. Somebody told him about Dr. Joel Wallach and got him in touch with Dr. Wallach. And Dr. Wallach convinced him not to do the surgery. The man regrew the cartilage in both of his knees, no surgery needed. I'm telling you, the doctors aren't going to tell you that. They're not going to tell you that. So again, you have to take responsibility for your own health. You really do. You really do. One of the things that really grieves me is to see people suffering unnecessarily. And some of my own family members. You know, familiarity breeds contempt. I try to tell them, man, you want this high blood pressure medication and the same working for you. Why don't you try these? No, my doctor say, my doctor something. The doctor, I love you. I try to help you. And they, you know, it's sad. Sad. It's really sad. But you don't have to suffer through it. You don't. You don't. So, do we have any other questions? I want to tell you, even things like gray hair, that's a sign of a nutritional deficiency. You give your body the nutrition it needs, your hair will turn black again. I tell you, no lie. People say to me all the time, I'm 56 years old. People say to me all the time, Michelle, do you dye your hair? No. You lie. I don't need to. My hair black. How come you ain't got no gray? Because I'm giving my body the nutrition it needs. Gray hair is a sign of a copper deficiency. Who's the most famous person you know who had a head full of white hair? Albert Einstein died of an aneurysm. He died of an aneurysm because he had an acute copper deficiency. And a sure sign of a copper deficiency is gray hair. His head was full white. So, serious stuff. Serious stuff. Any other questions or comments? Thanks, Janice. Thank you for an awesome presentation. Thank you so much. I'm on a crusade, y'all. We're on a crusade to get people healthy. Give them the information they ain't get nowhere else. You know? It just bothers me, man, to see people suffering for nothing. Suffering and dying when it doesn't have to be. Really, that's one of my pet peeves, and that's why I decided to become an holistic health coach, and I'm just a couple of units away from being certified, so I'm excited about that. But that's one of the reasons why I've decided to do that, because I just, people, they want to see, what kind of paper you got, but that's one of the things that really bothers me, to see people suffering unnecessarily, and I'm telling you, if you give your body the nutrition it needs, you'd be shocked. You'd be shocked at how your body will heal. That's how God designed us. Any other questions? No, I don't see any more hands being raised. All right. Okay, so again, please fill out the health assessment survey. And let us see how we can help you to become healthier. Let us see how we can help you to reverse that chronic condition that you've been battling for years, and the doctor's telling you gotta, you medication. Give us a try. Give us 90 days. And I guarantee you, and I know that's a bold word. It's like Gary in the guy in the video, when he says, Malcolm, if you only try to sell me products and this thing to work, I say, man, I ain't worry about you because I know it can work. I guarantee you it's gonna work. And sure enough, no surgery. And that was 2016. And he is still taking the product today because he realized how much it has helped him. And now he's a crusader, telling people y'all need to be on this product because it helped me. I'm a crusader because it helped to save my life. And there's nothing like a testimonial from somebody who has experienced it for themselves, you know? So definitely, I'm sure we can help you with whatever conditions you're dealing with. I'm sure of it. I am sure of it.
Okay, if there are no further questions for Ms. Malcolm, Madam President, would you like to have anything to say at this time? Is she there?
Hi. Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Ross. I would like to thank you to Ms. Malcolm for such an awesome presentation this evening. All have learned a great deal, and we would now check into our health, evaluate our health, because as she was speaking, lots of things were going through my head as to what may be wrong. We all have been diagnosed, might have been diagnosed with some things. And I had the same acid reflux to the point where I was throwing up in my sleep.
Oh man, no, we gotta fix that. We gotta fix that. You need to get off of gluten. Off of gluten right away. Matter of fact, just give me a second. Let me see if I can find, I'll put it on the screen, my good foods, bad foods flyer. Let me see if I can find that for you guys real quick, and I'll just put it on the screen so that you can see what you should be avoiding. So just give me 1 second. Hopefully I will find it. Ah, here it is. Okay. Just trying to get it to open. All righty, let me share the screen. Okay, so let's take a look at this together. Bad foods: wheat, barley, rye, oats. And you know, I'm a bread lover. So I thank God for Red Mills. It's a company that does these gluten-free flours. They have a gluten-free 1-to-1 all-purpose flour. It is very expensive, $16 a bag, but it's a lot cheaper than me having to be on medication. So with that flour, I just had some crab and go a couple of days ago. I've been making my own gluten-free crackers, my potato bread, and there's no aftertaste. It is wonderful. So I say all that to say that you can still enjoy the foods that you enjoy, but just, you know, you have to make some tweaking. So anything with wheat, barley, rye, or oats has gluten. You want to avoid them at all costs because gluten is the devil. It will destroy your gut. Fried foods, avoid at all costs. Leads to cancer. Any oil in a bottle, I already explained to you why that's bad. Well done red meat. If you eat meat, do not cook it well done because it has carcinogens. So you want to do it medium to medium rare. Okay? Processed meats, they have nitrates and nitrites, cancer causing. So avoid processed meats. The crispy skin of a baked potato, carcinogen. Don't eat the crispy skin of a baked potato. Carbonated drinks, sodas are bad. Acid. If you could take a Coca-Cola soda and pour it on your battery in your car and it cleans the battery terminal, what I tell you to do in your insides, apart from the sugar. So you don't want to do carbonated drinks and avoid processed sugar. Okay? What should you be eating? Eggs. Believe it or not, eggs are good for you. And I'm talking organic eggs now. Whatever meats you should eat should be organic meats. You need to avoid genetically modified foods at all costs. Eggs, butter is good. Salt, but again, not table salt. You're talking pink Himalayan salt or the natural rocks, the natural pond salt or whatever we get from the islands. Those are good. Vegetables. And you don't want to overcook your vegetables. You want them to just be lightly sauteed. If you have an issue with your gut in terms of becoming gassy, if you eat raw vegetables, just lightly saute them. Don't fry them, just lightly saute. Fruits, nuts, except peanuts. If you eat peanuts, it's like eating mold, okay? You don't want to eat peanuts. Rice and beans, red meat. And sorry if there are any Adventists in the group, you don't have to eat red meat if you don't want to, but it's not a bad thing, I think, if you do. Poultry is good. Fish is good. Again, organic, 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 organic. All of the vegetables and fruits that I buy from a local farmer's market. I do not buy them from the food store because usually in the food store, they've been sprayed with all a bunch of stuff. And I mean, even some of the apples have that waxy thing all over it. So, and then they have to travel so long to get here. No, you want to get your fruits and vegetables as fresh as possible, farmer's market. And it's cheaper going to the farmer's market too, all right? And some farmers markets, they also have people that sell the organic meats. There's a guy named Taylor who he operates out of the Gladstone Road Farmers Market. And that's where I buy my chickens from. I buy only his locally grown free-range chicken, and you could taste the difference. It tastes like chicken. The other stuff looked like cardboard. When you've had organic chicken and then you go back to that other stuff, you'll be like, my God, what is this I eating? So you want to go organic as much as possible, okay? So that's your list, your good foods and your bad foods. And remember, you can never out-supplement a poor diet. So if you're eating poorly, you could take nutrients from now until you're blue in the face, ain't gonna make no difference. You will never out-supplement a poor diet. Okay, so I'm gonna stop sharing the screen now. Are there any questions about this list or? Any questions about that list or anything else that we talked about?
Yes, there was no mention of seafood.
Fish was on the list of good foods.
Oh, okay, I didn't see it, sorry.
Yeah, but now, you know what? I love shrimp, I love conch, I love crawfish, but they bottom feeders. So if you can eat it, know what you're eating. They are crab scavengers, but I just had crab and dough. So you gotta know what you're eating.
Moderation.
Yeah, yeah. Everything, in moderation. But certain things you need to avoid altogether. You don't want to do oils in moderation. You don't want to do margarine in moderation. Certain things you need to avoid altogether because they will kill you. And like I said, if you don't believe me, go put a stick of margarine out on the wall and see how many flies light on that. Not a one will light on it.
So are you recommending margarine or butter?
No, do not use margarine.
Okay.
Margarine is nothing more than plastic and your body does not know what to do with that. Butter is better because butter is natural. Margarine is some kind of processed plastic chemical thing that your body won't know what to do with. The problem with genetically modified foods and things like margarine that are created in a lab is that your body does not know what to do with it because it's not food. If you take a genetically modified head of corn and an organic head of corn and you release a mouse, the mouse will go to the genetically modified one and then go to the organic one and it will eat the organic one. It will not touch the genetically modified one. They've given the choice between that and the real thing. They got more sense than us. So you want to avoid genetically modified foods as much as humanly possible because your body does not know what to do with that. It's not food. It does not have the nutritional density of real food. And let me just say this. You may be listening to me and you may say, well, I eat healthy, so I don't need your supplements. I don't need the supplement because I eat healthy. Let me tell you why that's a problem. Back in the day when my grandparents were on the island of Cat Island, they did a lot of their own farming. And one of the things, one of the techniques that they used was what they called slash and burn. I don't know if they knew this or not, but when they would slash and burn, when the trees burned or when the plants burned, the ash that was left behind was really minerals. And the minerals that they left on the earth would replenish the earth. So whatever grew from the earth would be mineral rich. So the foods they ate were mineral rich. Now comes the advent of electricity and all of these modern farming techniques. So the soils today aren't being replenished with the minerals that our grandparents' soils were. And so even though you are eating locally grown or even organic food, if it hasn't been mineral enriched, then it does not have the nutritional density that it should have. So no matter how much organic food you eat, you have to supplement because the foods today aren't being, they don't have the nutritional value that our grandparents' food did. Now, one of the products that we offer in Youngevity is something called Bloomin' Minerals. And I've been doing, since the lockdown, I've been doing a series of webinars on food security and talking about Bloomin' Minerals, because what Bloomin' Minerals does is it's something for those of you who are into backyard gardening, you have to get Bloomin' Minerals, because what it does is it puts the minerals back in the soil. And so whatever comes from that, you're talking a drastically increased yield. So if you grow tomatoes, not only will your tomato plant put out a lot more tomatoes, but they will be sweeter, they will be juicier, they will be incredibly good. One way to measure the density of a tomato, the nutritional density, mineral density, is if you put a tomato in a glass of water and it sinks to the bottom, you know that that is mineral rich. If it flows to the top, you know it's not. So one of the things that Bloomin' Minerals does, and like I said, I've been doing a whole series of webinars on this, on food security really, is it makes sure that the food that you grow is rich in those minerals. And that's how you know you're getting mineral-enriched food. But generally speaking, you're not getting it in your foods anymore. It's said that this generation will be the first one to bury their children because their children aren't getting the nutrition that their bodies need. And so they're coming down. Listen, man, we got children in this country on dialysis. Something wrong with that picture? So you got to give the body the nutrients it needs, and then we got to get rid of the toxins. I believe a big part of our problem in this country is our environmental toxins, a big part. My own experience shows that even if you're exposed to environmental toxins, at least give your body the nutrition it needs to fight. And that's my own experience. I was exposed to one of the worst kind of toxins out there, black mold, 17 months. But it was the nutrition that was helping my body to fight that thing. So you need that nutrition. You need to supplement, and not all supplements are created equal. So you don't think you can go into the store and purchase Nature Valley and get the same level of nutrition that you would get here. No, it's not the same, because that's all synthetic, produced by Big Pharma, and they're getting you one way or the other. Do we have any other questions?
I have one question. The supplements, are they all in tablet form or in liquid as well?
You have the choice of tablet, liquid, or powder. My personal choice is powder. So what I do morning, I throw in, like, how does mango season? Child, I love me some mango. So I have a lot of, like, my friends would just load me down with mangoes, and I've been saving pulp. And so in the morning, I'll just throw some mango pulp in the blender, a little bit of water, throw in all my powders, blend that up, and I have a smoothie for breakfast. And I know I'm getting my 90 for life. Now, I also take enzymes with my food that I eat. We have an incredible product called Microbiome that gives you the prebiotics biotics and postbiotics, something like that. Anyhow, pre, post, all of that. It's really good for healing the gut. And so I've been taking that. I just started on that product this month, actually, and I'm really loving it. And I'm really starting to see a difference in terms of, because ever since I was a kid, I have had digestive issues. Ever since I was a child, they tell me. And so since I've been on the microbiome, I've now seen some things moving regularly, and I'm feeling a lot better and less bloating and all that kind of stuff. So that's an incredible product. I also am on the glucogel because glucogel, Dr. Wallach says that we should change the name of glucogel to anti-wrinkle capsules, because what the glucogel does is it lifts everything back up. As you get older, your skin starts to sag and everything else starts to go south because it loses elasticity. And what glucosamine does is it gets everything to come back up. And so you have less wrinkles, you know, things start to sit up again when you're on glucosamine. So I don't miss a day of taking my glucogel because I live in. I don't want to be looking my age. And so, yeah, I'm on the glucogel. I'm on the microbiome. I'm on selenium. Selenium is really good for the brain and heart. And then, like I said, the stuff for my digestion, the enzymes, and the 90 for life. That's what I do every single day. And, you know, the 90 for life has the OsteoFX, which has the calcium and magnesium. The essential fatty acid capsules have the omega-3, 6, and 9. And then the Beyond Tiny Tangerine has all of the vitamins and minerals. And so that's what I take every day. And I don't do the flu shot because I have no need to do a flu shot because I don't get the flu because my immune system is strong. And whenever they come up with this COVID-19 vaccination, I ain't taking that either. Don't need to because my immune system is strong. And I mean that. Bill Gates could go sit down with his vaccine. I'm not taking it. I don't need it. Are there any other questions? I don't see any more hands raised. No?
You here? Yeah, I just wanted to say that just looking at you is a testimony of your products. I thought you was this young girl.
56 years old. I'm going to be 57 in a couple of weeks.
But so it shows.
I will be 57 on July 16th. 57 years old on July 16th. I can't be looking my age.
Oh my goodness, you look like a teenager, believe me.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So you're showing an example of what your products can do. So
thank you.
That's wonderful. You're welcome.
And if my hair wasn't in such bad condition, you know, with this lockdown, your hairdresser, you ain't got no hairdresser. So child, y'all don't want to see what's going on underneath here. But but if I were to take this off, you'd see gray. No, can't be happening. And I don't dye my hair. It's all through nutrition. Renee Tucker has a question. Renee?
Yeah, you said July 16th. That's my same birthday.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah, the Cancer Girls. Yeah, I'm going to be 57 years old. July 16th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm July 4th.
Nice. We good people, eh?
Of course. Actually, I remember you from in the St. Joseph area when we used to go to that primary school.
Oh,
y'all
wow.
were across the road, yeah. Y'all had that nice little talk shop. Everyone used to run to after school, yeah.
My grandmother, listen, my grandmother made the best coconut and pineapple tart I have ever tasted. I have yet, that woman could have cooked here. I have yet to taste a tart as good as hers, or a crab soup, or her pumpkin soup. Ooh, just thinking about it. She was an incredible, she had a good business head, even though she didn't have the opportunities that we would have today. My grandmother was an amazing woman. She really was.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's way back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. Okay, well, ladies, please fill out that health assessment survey. And I will be happy to walk you through, get the journey started to better health. And I guarantee you, if you give us
gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, and gentlemen, we have a gentleman on. So sorry, sir. I didn't realize that. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Thompson. Sorry about that, Mr. Thompson. Give us 90 days and I guarantee you will get you on the road to better health. You'll be feeling like a new man and a woman. Just give us an opportunity and I promise you, I guarantee you, it will make a big difference in your health. And then you won't have to worry about no COVID-19 and no vaccine and all that kind of foolishness.
Our gentleman left us a couple of minutes ago, but Toastmaster Thompson is a female.
Oh, so sorry. It spelled Dominic like a guy. I'm so sorry. Okay, so the gentleman is not with us any longer. Okay.
He said his goodbyes a little earlier, but
okay.
Toastmaster Benson was in the chat a little earlier.
Cool.
So, Toastmaster.
My apologies, Dominic. My apologies.
It's okay, Miss Malcolm. They wanted a boy, they got me. It's not a problem.
I hear that.
If there are no other questions, then once again, I'd like to thank Ms. Malcolm for an excellent presentation this evening, and hopefully we all would now go and take the health evaluation and see where we're at, and hopefully I'll get started on boosting our immune system. So Ms. Malcolm, on behalf of Eloquent Voices Toastmasters Club and all of the other Toastmasters who would have joined us this evening, I'd like to say thank you, thank you, thank you once again. And to all of the other Toastmasters, those from, I see a number from BFM. Once again, thank you for joining us this evening as well.
It was my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.